On, brought to you by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. By Jeep, get great deals at the Jeep Spring Clearance event. And by GMC, we are professional grade. From Tropicana Field tonight, the Rays and the Marlins in the first game of this two-game set at Tropicana Field. Third game of their four-game Citrus Series in interleague play. And Jose Alvarado, hard-throwing left-hander, will make his major league debut. 9 appearances at Montgomery, 2-1. With a .238 earned run average. We had a chance to see a glimpse of him in the spring, and he has an outstanding arm. Hit 100 during the spring. He was at 97, 98, and jumped to 100 on the next pitch we saw him. A curveball and a changeup, but he lights up that radar gun.
Explains the strikeout numbers, and the Rays hoping that Alvarado translates to this bullpen. Now the only lefty out there.
Miguel Rojas leads off against him, and the first pitch at 96 is a strike call.
Well, he comes straight downhill with that power fastball.
It's a little chopper. He's off the mound to grab it and fires to first. That ball popping away from Weeks, rolling up that right field line, and Rojas is aboard.
I didn't think when he went over to get this he was going to be able to get him with that long windup, but boy, that ball gets there in a hurry, and they certainly did have a chance to pick up that out, but that ball in the dirt, too hot to handle. Boy, tough chance for Ricky Weeks Jr.
And an infield hit for Rojas, his third hit tonight. The Marlins have 14 hits now in this game, and the bottom of the order continues to get on base. There's Echeverria, and he bunts. Sucre's going to go to second. Safe, the call there. Sucre decided to go to second, and Beckham with a little stretch, trying to keep his foot on the bag and come up with that throw cleanly. Jim Reynolds made the safe call.
Well, you can't blame him, Dwayne. Look how quickly he got to the ball. You pick up Rojas and you realize how close he is. That ball just out in front of the batter's box, but Rojas read it well. Good secondary lead, read the bunt, and get down there as quick as possible, and he does beat the throw.
So the Marlins put 2 men on base. Ichiro, and he bunts foul, strike one. Rojas, who reached on the infield hit, now at second. Echeverria credited with a bunt single. So that's 15 hits for the Marlins. They could rule it a fielder's choice.
Probably should.
And now a ball that gets away to the backstop. And the Marlins put 2 more men in scoring position. So the Marlins picking up here in the 7th where they left off in the 6th.
And then now Suzuki can swing the bat. Doesn't have to bunt. He yanks 98 down and away. It's so difficult to get the glove down there at that kind of velocity. Infield for the Rays has come up all of a sudden.
Strike 2. 1-2. 2-run game in the 7th inning. So this game's still in the balance. And a major threat by the Marlins. little bit of that one. Alvarado down to Venezuela, out of Maracaibo. Years old, will be 22 later this month. Ground ball down to first. Weeks picks it up. Now he's going to try to tag Ichiro and misses him. And things continue to come apart here for the Rays. Bases loaded now, with Ichiro aboard.
And I'm sure the Rays are going to take a look at this. Gets a breaking ball, rolls it over. Ricky Weeks. Boy, I'll tell you, it did not, I mean, let's take a look. I mean, did it graze the helmet? So, you know, they're going to go look at this, but have you seen a definitive? I mean, it could have right there. Yeah, maybe that's it. Well, that's close.
Yep.
So close.
And the burden is difficult when you're challenging a call that's been made against you. So we'll see. Right now it stands as an error on Weeks, and that would load the bases.
That'd be the second inning in a row, if this stands, that the bottom three in the lineup would load the bases to lead off the inning. Did the same thing in the sixth where they had their big 5-run inning.
Well, the bottom three have had 12 plate appearances, and they've been on 10 of those 12 plate appearances.
Remarkable.
How about that?
Yeah. You know, you're thinking, okay, Yelich and Stanton and Real Muto and Martin Prado, you know, professional hitters. You fall asleep at the bottom of the lineup and they've owned the night.
I mean, that's difficult to do. 12 plate appearances spread among 3 hitters, particularly 7, 8, and 9, and 10 of them reach base. As of right now, that's where we are. And the Rays hoping that they can get that call overturned. I don't know if that's going to be enough or not.
I mean, that's your best look right there. Is that definitive enough for you?
I think that's going to be tough.
Yeah. And ultimately, guess what? You may completely disagree with me on that one right there. And you've got a guy in New York that's going to make a subjective call.
Yeah.
There's nothing clear cut here.
Yep.
Unless, you know, there's an angle.
And if there's nothing clear cut, they're not going to overturn it.
You would think. That's where it gets interesting.
So we'll see if they do it.
Yeah. Sit back like everybody else.
I mean, they may have, you know, what are they going to have? I mean, this is the only game in town right now in terms of their possibility of review.
Maybe they saw a string move on Ricky's glove and
they're taking a little time to make sure whatever they come back with.
And, you know, if this does come back and it's not in the Rays' favor, you've got the bases loaded now, nobody out, and a pitcher that's trying to stay loose out there right now, just kind of standing around there for a while, which is of no benefit.
Well, they're going to overturn it. How about that?
How about it?
So they saw something that was definitive enough to get it done. And that's going to erase one of those on base appearances by the bottom 3 in the order. And Ichiro will be out 3 unassisted, and we're assuming that would do it there. Hard to think that one could have done it.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I mean. At the end of the day, it's still a I don't want to say a guess call, but it's a subjective call.
Yep.
I mean, you could have. I didn't think that there was going to be enough to overturn. They obviously did.
Yep.
So.
So a strike to count on Realmuto. We're getting a scoring change on the Echeverria bunt base hit, as we thought we might. It's a sacrifice and a fielder's choice. Fly ball into right field, and Souza Jr. is going to have to go back over his head. It one hops the wall. He falls down but comes up with it. One man has scored. Here comes another man, and all the way to third goes Realmuto. And the Marlins come up with a couple more runs, and it's a 4-run deficit for the Rays.
You know, and if Souza Jr. doesn't go down, they got a chance, because you look out there, Echeverria just stayed at second base, wondering if this ball was going to be caught. You see him going back towards second. He doesn't even take off until right there. A little bit of a stumble by Souza Jr. and well, he gets turned around already. Like I said earlier on those pop-ups, you get turned around, you get a little disoriented, and down he goes.
Here's Prado, Martin Prado, with the Tampa Bay infield pulled in. Fastball at 98 right there. 1-0. You get the feeling with that last pitch that part of Sucre's left arm might have gone with it when he's reaching up to corral that pitch.
Can you imagine at that velocity how quickly you've got to get there?
Into right field. Souza Jr. will make the catch. Tag at third. Realmuto comes to the plate, and another run is home. So the Marlins pick up 3. Prado drives in a run with a fly ball, and it's 10-5. You know, the Marlins had threatened early in the game. Blake Snell worked 5 innings, gave up 2 runs, and now the bullpen on the hook for 8 runs. Here's Christian Yelich. 2 outs with the bases now empty in this 3-run 7th. Yelich singled and scored. Drove in a run in the 6th. It's a strike. Every spot has reached base in this Marlins lineup, with the exception of the number 6 position, occupied by the first baseman Justin Bour. There's another strike, 0-2. It's a ball and 2 strikes. 4 runs batted in tonight for JT Realmuto. We're going to look at Stanton on deck. His career high in a single game is 6. Upstairs, 2-2. Jose Alvarado making his major league debut and has been touched for 3 hits, 3 runs. Taylor to second, picked up by Miller. That will take care of the Marlins in the 7th, but they add to their lead 10-5.